All right, I'd like to call to order the August 15th combined discussion and action meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Adams.
Here.
Dr. Anderson. Here. Mr. Caligiuri.
Here.
Ms. Chudderwitz will not be joining us tonight. Mr. Devine.
Here.
Mr. Hill.
Here.
Mr. Sokolsky will not be joining us tonight. Mrs. Stepnick will not be joining us tonight. Ms. Wetmore.
Present. Student
Representative Ms. Scholar.
Here.
Thank you. The board met in executive session on August 10th, 2023 and August 15th, 2023 to discuss matters of litigation, safety, personnel, and real estate. And I apologize, we're going to go a little out of order. I'm going to give the president's report right away. Before we get started tonight, we want to take a minute to express our deepest sympathy to all the families affected by the tragedy in the Rustic Ridge community this past weekend. Many lost friends and family, and even more are now left without a home. Many of our students lost a friend, and we want them to know that we will have the support you each need available to you. To our counterparts on the Borough Council and to all of those that worked under Mr. Thomas, our hearts go out to you. This is a process, and healing will take time. We can offer assistance to anyone that is in need, and as we progress through the new school year. If you have any concerns for your children or families during the school year, please reach out to your building principal, and they will direct you to the proper resources. On a lighter note, next week starts the new school year, and we welcome our kindergartners for the first time. We will welcome students back to their existing buildings, as well as students moving up into 5th, 7th, and 9th grades. Lastly, to our seniors, we welcome you to your last first day. We hope you all make the most of this school year and look forward to seeing you in 9 months proudly walk across that stage and receive your diploma. We would also like to welcome back our faculty and staff. Many of you have already been back into the buildings prepping for next week. And we thank you all for your time and dedication to our students and look forward to another successful year. We will have a lot of familiar faces in our buildings this year, some in new roles, as well as the task of filling new roles. We want to ensure our students, parents, and our community that we will fill the gaps as quickly as possible. And as we fill these open roles, we assure you that our students will not feel any speed bumps along the way, and each building will be fully operational. And lastly, thank you to our administration, both new and old, for all of your work over the summer to prepare for the new year. Your hard work and dedication do not go unnoticed. And with that, I will give it over to Dr. Walsh.
Thank you, Mr. Devine. The house explosion shook our community, leaving behind a scene of destruction and heartache. The community lost several beloved members Saturday morning. One student, Keegan Clance, was a bright and promising young man who was loved by many. He would be remembered for his kindness, his wonderful personality, his intelligence, and being an active member of the Plum youth football program. As we try to come to terms with this deep loss, it is imperative we come together and continue to support one another during this difficult time. Over the weekend in my communications with the borough and the first responders, I had an opportunity to debrief with them on Sunday morning, and what I shared with them is that when horrible things happen in our community, our first responders have to be at their best, and it was certainly on display over the weekend. The community response has been amazing. I grew up in this community, and I know Plum is a prideful community. It is a community that will roll up its sleeves to help a neighbor. And I also know it's a resilient community that we will work together to move forward. I'd like to give the community some updates that have been occurring behind the scenes so that you're aware of what we've been doing as an administrative team. First of all, in our pupil services department, our school counselors, social workers, Turtle Creek Valley therapists on Monday and Tuesday offered grief counseling services. It was open to our students, our faculty, and our community members, and I appreciate all of their work in giving their time and attention to community members and families. They've also, in the People Services Department, contacted families in the Rustic Ridge community. They are conducting a needs assessment, and moving forward, we will offer targeted assistance to the borough, to youth sports groups, or any groups that are in need of assistance. In human services, or human resources, Ms. Sedlak has been working with our employee assistance program, has been sending out resources to our employees. Some of our team members were impacted by the events on Saturday, and we've been reaching out and working with them directly in regards to what we can do to support them during this time. Our transportation department is working with People Services so that the displaced families, wherever they may be, in a hotel, in a neighboring community, will have the ability to have transportation to and from school. Our technology department is making sure that we have hotspots available and devices, if needed, for families that have lost everything. Our business department is making sure that we have money available to assist displaced students through federal grants that are available to us. Our food service for the displaced families, these students will not be charged breakfast or lunch. Our athletic and student activities and booster groups, as you have seen in the media and on social media, have been involved in a variety of activities to help support the family during this time. Our facilities department on Saturday immediately conducted safety checks in all of our buildings. We have purchased gas meters, and we've conducted safety checks within our buildings, and that will be our practice moving forward. Our school police have been making sure that this is a safe space. There is media throughout the borough. And when families are coming in for support, we wanted to ensure that their privacy was protected. And we will continue to move forward on our athletic fields and all of our school grounds to make sure that this is a safe space for everybody. I will say that I have mixed emotions going into the school year. You know, my heart breaks for the community members, but just listening to the band playing, watching students in the cafeteria, on break from, variety of activities that have started here at the high school this week, watching our sports teams on the field, I have felt, for me personally, has brought me comfort, and I find it to be soothing. I am looking forward to the first day of school. There will be additional supports for our students that will be available as needed. And speaking of the first day of school, I believe it's important that we get kids back in school. This is where the supports are in the community for our students. Our social workers, our counselors, our nurses, and the outside agencies that work with the school district. We will be, in my opinion, we will be better able to meet the needs of our students upon the first day, Wednesday of next week. Just on a final note, and this is something that is not, it's something that I feel is important in anybody that works in this field, and that's relationships. The relationships that our faculty and staff have with our students, we will be better able to support them. I believe that the relationships that this district has with the borough, with the different organizations within the borough, will help us also move forward together. Prior to the incident on Saturday, I've spent time with the mayor, the police chiefs, talking about the Rotary, Commerce, the Plum Library, and all working together to improve not only our relationship, but the services and the resources that are available, in this community to our students. So as I shared, I have mixed emotions going into the school year, but we are prepared, we are fully staffed, and we are ready to go.
Thank you. Moving on to recognitions.
Miss Melanie Maines Rush will be our first up for the high school recognitions.
Good evening. My name is Melanie Maines Rush, and I am one of the assistant principals at the high school. I'm here this evening to recognize Mr. Connor Philpott. Connor was invited to join the National Society of High School Scholars. Since 2002, the National Society of High School Scholars, NSHSS, has been supporting young academics on their journey to college and beyond as they prepare to become the leaders of tomorrow. Co-founded by the grandnephew of Alfred Nobel, NSHSS is inspired by the mission of the Nobel Prize to support academic achievement and world betterment. NSHSS pursues this mission by connecting members with scholarships, college fairs, internships, career and leadership opportunities, partner discounts, and more. Connor, I urge you to take advantage of all of these fantastic opportunities. The mission of NSHSS is to recognize academic excellence and honor the highest achieving high school students, providing them with the resources and network to excel in college, career, and community. And the vision of NSHSS is to establish a worldwide network of high achieving scholars and help equip them to be the next generation of impact-driven leaders in their schools, workplaces, and communities. The Society, its missions, values, and student members embody the Nobel spirit. On behalf of the high school administrative team, we would like to congratulate you, Connor, on this great achievement and honor, and we wish you the best of luck as you embark upon your senior year here at Plum Senior High School.
Okay, next if we could have Miss Jessica Gruel from our Food Services Department.
Okay, so tonight Layla and Pina are here being recognized this evening because for the past 5 years they have hosted a community bake sale in which all proceeds benefit families that experience food insecurity. These ladies have partnered with No Kid Hungry and the Pittsburgh Food Bank, and for the past 4 years they have donated a portion of their proceeds to our food service department. The money has helped our families in our district and also help fuel our summer food service program. So we just want to really appreciate you and let you know what the impact that your efforts are doing for our community. Do you have anything you want to say? You good? Okay. Thank you. A picture.
All right, our last recognition tonight is Ms. Stepnick, who's unfortunately not here tonight. She was receiving the PSBA Honor Roll Certificate for 8 years of service, so we appreciate everything she's done for the district in that time, and congratulations to her. At this time, I'd like to open the floor to citizens' comments on agenda items.
Anybody in the audience that would like to speak on an item that is listed on the agenda this evening, you may step to the podium. We ask you to state your name your residency within Plum, and you'll be given 5 minutes to speak. I will put a timer up on the monitor so that you can also manage your own time. We ask that you please address any of your comments directly to our presiding board, and just remember that this is a time to share your ideas, your comments, your concerns, rather than a question and answer session with the board. Is there anybody that would like to step up at this time? Okay, Mr. Devine, back to you.
All right, thank you. Before we move into the agenda, just to give everyone a rundown of how this is going to work tonight, we have a combined discussion and action meeting. So we just opened citizens' comments. They will be open again before we get to the vote, but we're going to go through the entire agenda, discuss it, and then continue right into the action meeting where we vote on everything. We do have a quorum tonight. We have 6 members, so the majority vote would be 4 for anything to pass tonight. All right, student achievement and activities, Dr. Anderson, lead board liaison.
Yep. So we have first the No Kid Hungry Bake Sale to approve for the grants and donations section. Any comments or concerns except for thank you so much for the funds raised? All good?
All good.
All good. Okay, so letter B, annual renewal of Title I services agreements with Catapult Learning and Sound Foundation Reading Instruction. Mrs. Sedlak, anything to add?
Just an annual renewal.
Okay, perfect. Any questions or concerns? Do we have 4 to move it forward? Awesome.
Did
thank you.
we move letter A forward?
Oh, I don't know that we, I don't think we have to, but do we have 4 to move letter A forward? Okay, cool. Letter C, annual renewal of the Western PA School for Blind Children Services Agreement for 23-24. Anything notable?
They provide services for one of our students who's visually impaired here in the district.
Perfect. Any questions or concerns? Do we have 4 to move that forward? Okay.
Yes.
Thanks, Mike. And then we're at letter D, board curriculum update.
Could we do E and F and then I'll come
Yep,
back?
absolutely.
Okay.
So, letter E, System 1, 2, 3 contract. Anything notable?
It's for our support services for our students.
Okay. Any questions or concerns?
I was ready.
Do we have 4 to move it forward? Okay. And letter F, dual enrollment agreement with Penn State University for the 23-24 school year.
This is a new agreement
Yep.
that the high school administration was able to garner for our students. And it joins the litany of about 7 other universities with which we have dual enrollment agreements.
I'm liking this new leadership already.
Oh, okay. I was just going to check if Pitt was already on the list. Okay.
Oh,
It's got a little better.
that's what I was going to say.
Before we move it forward?
Go, do we have 4 to move it
That's a
forward?
resounding yes.
That's what I was going to say. We have lots of yeses for that one. All
Good
right.
evening. It's my pleasure to give you the 23-24 curriculum update. We can go through the next slide. Maybe. Who we are, how we operate, and our strategic goals is to really increase the rigor and achievement of our students. Our learning goals, just like we make our teachers do in the classroom, today we would hope that we share our strategic vision and updates with you. And we just discuss the tutoring program, which is something new to utilize our ESSER funding, and share with you the technology updates for 23-24. Our department leaders have grown from a mere 6 when Dr. Walsh started to 21. And we have building administrators and central office administrators that work very collaboratively with our vertical teams so that we focus on those that are in the classrooms and hear from them first and foremost. Just to share with you and the public, we have done a lot of heavy lifts under Dr. Walsh's tenure with mathematics, with K-12 adoptions and curriculum reviews in mathematics, which Dr. Boyers was leading, English language arts, which Ms. Feit led, science and health and PA, phys ed that Dr. Zarmak, Mr. Lazaro led, fine arts under Mr. Hartman. And this year, Ms. Ivan will be looking at special education, gifted, speech, and year 2 of our fine arts as we look at our auditorium sound and lighting systems. 24-25 will be challenging with social studies and world language. I replaced Dr. Walsh's logo. Curriculum assessment and instruction, it's all interwoven. We embrace the understanding by design philosophy. What do you want your students to know, understand, and be able to do? And so we look at what are those learning goals, what are those big ideas, and then we look at assessment. How do we want to measure whether or not our students are mastering it? And only then can we focus on the instruction. We embrace the understanding by design from Wiggins and McTighe, and all of our departments have written a curriculum that is aligned to the standards, either the core standards or the legacy standards, and we are continuing to refine that. We had a lot of new resources, and so we are taking that tactical pause this year to really enable our teachers to get in and utilize the resources, make curricular revisions, and focus on that assessment piece. With the special ed gifted and resource review, we really want to focus on that assessment piece with all of our department leaders. We also will be bringing forth a mental health screener, the continued implementation of resources, and then MTSS, you're going to hear about that a lot this year. MTSS is multi-tiered system of support. It replaced the old response to intervention, and I can't remember what RTII stood for, Ms. Veit. Response to intervention and...
I just had it as RTI.
Okay. So, I'm not the only one.
It was instruction.
Instruction.
Yeah, intervention and instruction.
Instruction, thank you, Ms. Ivan. And then MTSS at the secondary level. MTSS is very common at the elementary level, but at the secondary level, it's kind of lacking. We really want to focus on the positive behavior interventions and supports for our grades 5 through 12. We saw a lot of behavioral challenges, social and emotional challenges with our students. So we really want to build on Rachel's challenge and provide that positive culture. And then with tutoring, again, to utilize our ESSERS money, we've done tutoring and we opened up our ESY programs over the last 2 years, really expanded our tutoring to address the learning loss caused by the pandemic. And so we want to continue that after school, though, with our teachers while our kids are here, because we think we'll have more bang for the buck by having the kids here and the teachers here and really focusing on those targeted interventions. Common assessments, I talked a lot about that and I met with the department leaders today. Common assessments really provide opportunities for the teachers to compare apples to apples instead of apples to oranges. If you have Algebra 1 should be, it doesn't matter whether you have Algebra 1 in the middle school or Algebra 1 in the high school. Algebra 1 is Algebra 1. When teachers look at, if you could go to the next slide, when they look at common assessments, they're able to identify the gaps that we might have in our curriculum. They're able to collaborate. If Mrs. Wetmore, kids did really well on certain questions, and my kids did very poorly, I'm going to collaborate and say, how did you teach this lesson? What do I need to do to reteach? And those kids that got it, how can we enrich them? So it really provides an effectiveness to understand the curriculum. It gives clarity and allows teachers to really measure their teaching strategies and learn from the data analysis. We love data, we love data, we love data. And to learn from each other, not to be isolated silos in our classroom. It also helps us identify those struggling students. We want to meet our students where they are. They're not all at the same place. We're not all at the same place in this room. We want to meet our kids where they are and bring them up to where they need to be. And it's a common language for teachers to use and for kids to use. Most importantly, for kids to understand the languages that we use. And it really is that consistent expectations, high expectations, that rigor for academic achievement, that continuous improvement. We could go on to the next one. This is just in writing what I just shared in the visual graphic. MTSS, structured literacy. Pennsylvania has required that all school districts for the 24-25 school year are providing professional development on structured literacy. With our MTS initiative led by Ms. Ivan and her department, we're really going to focus on that structured literacy K-4. We want our students and our teachers, most importantly, to be able to teach our kids explicit instruction with phonemic awareness, phonemes, vocabulary, fluency. There's 5.
Cody. Decoding and coding.
Decoding
Decoding and coding.
Thank you. We have also received a grant through Patan, which is one of our support services, and the IU, to really be able to provide top-notch professional development for our teachers. They'll really be looking at explicit instruction, how to differentiate the instruction to meet the kids where they are. Really looking at fidelity checklists to make sure everyone's doing the same thing in grade 2 or grade 3, and that we're scaffolding and building upon what we're doing. When we go to school-wide positive intervention, it really is that Rachel's challenge. How do we focus on that positive school climate? Dream big, be kind, look for the good in others, start that chain reaction. It reduces behavior problems that we saw a lot of because of the pandemic and the fact that kids weren't doing school, so they weren't learning those social cues and what their roles and responsibilities. So we have our teams at Holiday Park Intermediate School, at the middle school, and at the high school. Rachel's Challenge. This is important. I just shared the goals of Rachel's Challenge, but I've never been anywhere where every single department has bought into Rachel's Challenge and live it in what they do. So it's not just at our 5 schools, it's our facilities department, our custodians recognizing when classrooms are keeping the classroom clean and picking up and being respectful of property, or in the bathrooms that they're not throwing paper towels on the floor and stuffing toilet paper down the toilets to flood them. Our food service, Ms. Griegel and her ladies are always recognizing and giving tokens for positive behaviors, for when they see each other help. When they see someone sitting alone and kids go over and sit by them, they're given rewards for them. Our transportation department, I think we shared Ms. Fight and Mr. Gauntner last year. The bus drivers were recognizing positive behaviors. If we could move that up to the intermediate and middle school on the bus rides, that would be great. So that's one of our goals this year. And our school police are recognizing kids for the positive things that they're doing with their tokens. Dr. Walsh probably has it in his pocket. I don't have it in my pocket. Our tutoring, Dr. Shula is really leading the charge for our tutoring, and as I said before, we want to provide it after school when our kids are here with our teachers. We're planning on beginning it in September, and more information will be shared with the board at that time. Wanted to just highlight all of the wonderful work that Mr. Luletta and the technology department does with our communications on Facebook, Twitter, our athletic websites, and just sharing a lot of that information, our district app with you. Our technology updates, every new kindergartner and every 9th through 12th grader will have a new Chromebook. The devices now come with a gumdrop case, which if you drop it, I need a gumdrop case for my laptop or my phone because sometimes I drop them. Mr. Lilletta has put a new cloud-based phone system in. We're working on some of the kinks, but it should not be impacted by some of the power outages that we experience in this district. And the new Xerox printers that Mr. Vanzer and Mr. Lilletta worked out to really make teachers' lives a little bit easier. The last thing I want to share, and I want to read this to you. These are the testimonials from our student tech interns. I've learned a great deal about technology maintenance and management this summer. It's easy to learn information in a classroom, but when it comes to applying what you learn, it's hard to do that in an educational setting. This internship has overall broadened my understanding of both the software and hardware sides of the technology. Everyone on the team is willing to help. My favorite part about working in Plum IT is the amazing and supportive team. Cassie, Dan, and everyone are extremely passionate about what they do and are willing to help us learn and answer questions. And this last one, this internship has not only helped me fulfill my internship requirements for school, but it has also given me the background that got me my next internship with PwC next summer in Washington, D.C. We really want to focus on continuing our internships, our opportunities for students to partake and be a part of our community, hopefully to get more teachers involved, more nurses, and more of our support staff. That's all I have for you this evening. If you have any questions, I'll entertain those now.
Mr. Hill.
I would also like you to extend, reach out, I'm sure you're already thinking about it, to Forbes CDC, because we have facilities maintenance, all that stuff that wraps into those trades as well.
I send them our postings every single time. This is great, extensive. I call their people, I'm going over and I'm gonna be knocking and walking in shops this year.
I just want to ask, and I'm sure because I know the team, with Rachel's challenge, I'd be interested in seeing the data across the years that we're implementing, because I know some of the feedback with some of our high school kids has been, doesn't apply to me. But I think that when you're starting out earlier and you're building on that across time, I'm really, really excited to see how that projects out.
We can pull the discipline referrals, but it was noticeable here at the high school last year, Ms. Sedlak, and maybe can go into a little more detail. A few years ago, our bathrooms, there was significant damage and vandalism. Just, from where our offices are and walking to the high school, just as, an observation, I've noticed a change in behavior. When this space is one of my favorite spaces in the district, where kids are collaborating, I see more respectful collaborations. I believe we've seen a decrease, don't hold me to this, in behavior. But the incidents that were occurring in regards to our facilities were almost non-existent last year compared to the year before. So we are moving in the right direction. I do see kids implementing Rachel's Challenge, K through 12, and this gives them an opportunity to be kind. Not that they wanted, the kids in Plum are kind in general, but I believe I see a buy-in is where I'm going with this. At the elementary, at the middle level, and at the high school. One of my favorite events is the Mustang of the Month, where we have we're recognizing students. That changes culture. And it's nice to see a representative sample of our high school body being recognized here in this space on a monthly basis. If you look at the horseshoe that is outside of the library, those are our Mustangs of the Month. That is posted on YouTube. I sat and watched month after month how proud our parents are that, maybe their child is not the fastest or the strongest or the smartest, but they're kind. And the emotion that brings in the recognition. Every month I see parents that get emotional in their kids being acknowledged for being a good person. And I believe that's contagious. So.
How do you feel, Miss Schallert? Schallert?
Yes.
Am I saying your last name right?
Scholart. Like
Schallert.
skull and then art. Scholart.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. It's
Why did they put an H in
confusing.
that? Oh, I put the H in the wrong spot.
It's okay. No, regarding the bathroom in our facilities this year, my sophomore year, I remember coming from Mr. Jasper's chemistry class. I was going to the bathroom in the bottom G wing. There was no soap, constantly no soap. There was bathrooms were closed. There was no way, it was just so depressing. It was I can't even wash my hands in here. I have to go and hand sanitize in the room. It was just horrible. This year, no, not a single problem. There's definitely been an increase in just kindness between students, kindness between staff and students to staff. It's been amazing. Rachel's Challenge is working for sure.
I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good feedback.
I think that's all for me. I think we're on to safe and supportive schools.
All right, Safe and Supportive Schools, Mr. Adams, Lead Board Liaison.
Hi, just a 6-month review of the health and safety plan, just moving that forward, F4 for that.
This is a PDE requirement. We're required to bring this
Yes.
forward every month. Nothing.
Cosmetic renewal more than anything.
Just the dates have changed, I believe.
Yeah.
Right.
Correct.
Do we have?
F4 for that?
Cosmetic
All right, Budget and Finance, Ms. Chudowitz is not here. Mr. Manzer, anything of note?
just your regular budgetary items, treasurer's report, and food service bills.
All right, do we have 4 to move those forward?
And then a resolution, this is actually for Dr. Walsh to be able to sign off on e-grants applications, and it just makes us more efficient.
We have 4 for that? All right, thank you. Facilities and operations, Mr. Hill, Lead Board Liaison.
Letter A, we had some compressors at O Block Elementary that we had to replace. Any questions on that? Do we have 5 to move that forward?
Just 4.
4? 5? Whatever. You guys know what I mean. An agreement between the PTO and the district on the concession stand where the PTO uses it for fundraising during football games and such. We have all the people here to move that forward.
Now, are you all raising your hand to volunteer?
Volunteers.
We really appreciate the support of the PTO, and we did get their dollar check for this year, so we're good to go. But pleasure working with them. I think they really wanted a long-term agreement. Happy to extend them. Great to work with. So you'll have food at the football games. Don't worry.
Nice. Always good. And then the Penn Power generator maintenance agreement to maintain all of our generators throughout the district. We have any questions? Enough to move forward?
Just on both A and C, recognizing Mr. Finney and getting those compressors here installed and identifying the issue, and same thing with the Penn Power maintenance agreement, saving the district money, long-term maintenance to make sure that those in any event would be up and running, and when we need them, they're going to be available. So much appreciated.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Nothing to report.
All right, Forbes Road, anything?
Nothing to report.
All right, intergovernmental, nothing for tonight. That's me. Legislative, Ms. Stepnick's not here. Dr. Walsh, anything of note for these?
Yeah, just for her to attend a conference. It's something that we typically have approved with board members.
All right, do we have 4 for A? Do we have 4 to move? What do you want to say? Do you have something to say for this one?
The social media?
Yeah.
I'll defer to Mr. Dice on this one, but what we're doing is entering in a class action lawsuit in regards with social media and all the ill effects that social media has on our students, and it is of no cost to the district. And Mr. Dice, I'm sure you might have a little bit more information.
No, I think that pretty much sums it up. Yeah, if we're joining a class action lawsuit, it's a contingent fee. Even if this law firm does not get any sort of award, we still don't pay anything. They're proceeding under the public nuisance liability theory. And if you actually dig into the brochure that they provided, it's pretty interesting about how social media companies just never considered the well-being of children and simply try to get kids addicted to their product. So there could be a windfall to the district, and I think it's a good cause.
Yep.
All right, do we have 4 for that? All right, policy, Mr. Caligiuri, Lead Board Liaison.
He's asked me to speak to those. Draft policy 216 is to bring us in compliance with school code and the changes they made as it relates to records for adjudicated and delinquent youth. Policy 251, just some minor tweaking. We approved this just a few months ago, but there was some illegal a line left off, and so it just includes the IEP with the court cases. That's all. Policy 707. I'd like to thank the board for revising this policy so that our district feeder programs, as we look to get more students involved, have waived the fees for the fields for our feeder groups.
Yeah, and Mr. Devine, do you have anything to add to policy 707, since you really took the lead on adjusting this? Please feel free to let the community know that you're do what you could to help the community.
Yeah, we redid this policy, I think, last January 2022 or February, something early in the year last year. And we reduced the fees to, I mean, they were almost nothing, I think $5 and $10 per hour. But this is, you know, I'll go down swinging on this all day long. You'll have a hard time convincing me that our elementary students and middle school students and intermediate students aren't the same as our high school students. When we look at Whitfield Sports, obviously they have precedent or priority to use those facilities, but if you're gonna tell me a second grader can't use our facilities that we have out back that are state of the art, I'll argue with you till I'm blue in the face about it. So, with the feeder program, a feeder support group program that we put in place last year, they have priority, I think, after our varsity sports, but for the same cost that our varsity sports get.
Yeah, just had my girls do a scrimmage on the field, and they had a blast, and also had another team set up right before us to do a scrimmage, and it was just an awesome night. Fans really enjoyed coming out to just see their kids play on the big field.
Yeah, and to add to that, with PBSA, we put all of our semifinal and championship games at the high school this year, as much as we could this year. And I think they said for the 10U baseball game, there was close to 300 people watching. It was awesome for the kids. It was under the lights, and they had a blast, and the atmosphere was just awesome, they said. So to me, this is a no-brainer. I'll tell you you're wrong if you vote against it, but it's a no-brainer for me.
Yeah. One thing that maybe there's not the time to add, but I'll add it anyways. The Kickoff Classic happens every year. It's the largest soccer tournament in Western Pennsylvania, and it's a great community event. And I would like to try to make sure that when we do have a Kickoff Classic, it's possible if we host our games here, coordinate with the association, if at all possible.
I think they are using it.
Yeah, they use it.
Yeah, they use the full-size field. So
Yeah. This year.
No?
Not this year.
Oh, last year they did.
Last year we did.
We have four moving forward, all three. All right, good.
All right, equity and inclusion, Ms. Wetmore, Lead Board Liaison, anything for tonight?
To talk about or a report?
Report would be later. Just
Okay.
anything
No,
for discussion.
nothing to discuss.
Okay. Community engagement, outreach, and development, Ms. Stepnick's not here. So that concludes the discussion portion of our meeting. We'll move right into the action meeting. Recommend approval of the July 18th, 2023 board discussion and action meeting minutes.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That was for in favor, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Motion passes. At this time, I'd like to open the floor to citizens' comments on agenda items.
Is there anybody that would like to speak at this time?
All right, we already did the president's and superintendent's reports. I will turn it over to our student rep for her report. For the first one.
Oh, first one, exciting. Hello. All right, so my activity update is that Plum had a walkthrough for parents and students for each school building at the beginning of last week. At the high school on August 9th, members of different extracurricular clubs were present to guide upcoming students around the school and answer questions. The incoming freshmen were extremely grateful to have upperclassmen helping them get familiar with the landscape as well as learn about the different clubs that they can join. On August 12th and 13th, the National Honor Society members held a car wash at Grand Slam Pizza to raise money for the families that were affected in the Rustic Ridge house explosion. They raised a total of $4,305.20. All the money is going to those in need. Also, in regards to the house explosion, and Dr. Walsh said earlier, is that multiple athletic teams and clubs have been fundraising money in various different locations and stuff like that. This was a traumatic event, and the student body will keep those that were affected in our thoughts and prayers. The National Honor Society has also started up a different fundraiser called Flocking, one of my favorites. This is where members go around to the Plum Borough, around houses in Plum Borough, and put fake flamingos in their front yards who were flocked by another. Perfect. The person who was flocked will then choose another person's house to flock, and so on. This will be going on throughout the entire football season, so please be sure to check your front lawns. Our second annual Back to School Movie Night will be happening this coming Saturday, August 19th at 7:30. The movie will be The Sandlot, which is a classic. This will be a district-wide event, so anybody is welcome to join. Feel free to stop by and have some fun with the community. The staff will be having a welcome back party this Friday, August 18th in the morning. Students will be returning to school on the 23rd. And also, fall sports are starting up this week with tryouts and practices. These sports include girls football, girls volleyball. There's no powder puff here. Girls volleyball, boys and girls soccer, football, cross country, girls slow pitch softball, cheerleading, boys and girls golf, and girls tennis. And I also have some student feedback. The senior class had a difficult time getting their senior photos this summer. The system that was in place was that each student had a predetermined appointment date and time in June that they were to come to the high school here and get their photos taken. Some, though, were not able to make these appointments work with their own busy summer schedules, nor were they notified by the school itself when this appointment was, but by a letter in the mail from Prestige, which was the company that we were taking these photos with, which is just not really known and uncommon in this technological era. We were like expecting an email. The overwhelming number of seniors that were unable to make their first appointment then had to reschedule another one in August, and those time slots filled up very quickly to the point that 8 students were scheduled for an 11 a.m. time slot. While the students are still able to get these photos done in October during the school day or make a separate appointment at Prestige's studio in South Fayette, for the upcoming years, a slight bit more communication would have been helpful and prevented these issues from occurring. That's all I have.
Thank you. Nice job.
Thank you. All right, Personnel, Dr. Anderson, Lead Board Liaison. Recommend approval to accept and resolve the following 1 to 6 as listed.
On behalf of the board, I'll make that recommendation.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
You have a motion and a second.
What number I was on.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstain? Motion passes.
Yeah, can I have 2 seconds? Yeah, absolutely. I don't want to diminish any of the other hires that are on that personnel agenda, but I do want to take special note of hiring Dr. Boyers as the assistant superintendent tonight. As one who has been here for the entire time of his tenure and had students who have gone through his building, I am extremely excited for him to be in a position of oversight and implementation across all of our buildings and all of our students. And so I'm extremely excited. You can add your kind words too, but I couldn't go without saying
Just a little background. In 2018, Dr. Boyers was hired by the Plum School District to be our middle school principal. I might add it was the junior high principal at that time. Dr. Boyers has collaborated with colleagues in leading a variety of initiatives at not only the building, but at the district level. Working with core team of educators, Dr. Boyer led a successful transition from a junior high model to a middle school model to better support our adolescent students. Since his arrival, he has served as an administrative lead on our math vertical team. And the processes that he put in place was replicated with the other disciplines, ELA, science, etc. Dr. Boyers is going to be a sight for sore eyes. I've been wearing 2 hats for some time, but I will I need to share with the community, I will continue to still wear 2 hats. Dr. Boyers will still serve as the middle school principal during this transition. And he will also wear the hat when time permits as the assistant superintendent. Our goal is to provide a smooth transition to our middle school students in the upcoming weeks. So more information will follow in regards to this transition, but as school is just around the corner, our administrative teams at the middle school and the high school will be intact as we open our doors on Wednesday. Okay, I just needed to note that. Dr. Boyers, congratulations. Is there anything you would like to come up and share with the board and community?
I'll be brief. Just want to express my sincere gratitude, Dr. Anderson, thanks for the kind words, to the school board of directors and this administrative team. I'm humbled and I'm honored, and I'm ready to take on this challenge and very excited to get to work. So we'll be there for that transition, but I'm excited to kind of dig into this piece as well. Just excited to extend my leadership role and serve our students, the staff, and more importantly, just the strong, caring, and committed community. It's amazing. And I'm confident in our leadership team, and I'm confident in the ability to collaborate with our educative staff to move initiatives forward for our students. And I look forward to the opportunity. So thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. All right, Dr. Anderson, anything else to report?
No, thank you.
Thank you. Student Achievement Activities, Dr. Anderson, Lead Board Liaison, recommend approval to accept and resolve the following 1 to 6 as listed.
On behalf of the board, I'll make that recommendation.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? Motion passes. Anything to report tonight?
I just would commend, I know everybody's here with heavy hearts, but would commend our administrative team and staff and even fellow board members for continuing to push through, because we have a duty to get kids back in school and to keep things moving. And I just appreciate that as a parent and as a board member, and I know it's been a lot for everyone, and just really appreciate the effort.
Thank you. Safe and Supportive Schools, Mr. Adams, Lead Board Liaison, recommend approval to accept and resolve the health and safety plan.
On behalf of the board, I'll make that recommendation.
Second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? Motion passes. Mr. Adams, anything to report tonight?
Just quickly, just commend the district on just helping out with the response to the tragedy this weekend, and again, recognition of the first responders that were on scene too. Incredibly heroic stuff, so that's all.
All right, thank you. Budget and Finance, Ms. Charlowitz is not here tonight. Recommend approval to accept and resolve the following 1 and 2 as listed below.
So moved.
Do we have was that a motion?
That's so moved, yes.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any
4
opposed?
years. It's been 4 years.
Any opposed? Any abstain? I'll abstain from the line item with my father's paycheck on it. All right, motion passes. Facility and Operations, Mr. Hill, Lead Board Liaison. Recommend approval to accept and resolve the following 1 to 3 as listed.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? Motion passes. Anything to report tonight?
Just looking forward to getting our kids back in these facilities, where they belong, where these resources are, and before my kids kill themselves.
All right. Forbes Road CTC, Mr. Hill, anything to report tonight?
Nothing tonight.
All right. Intergovernmental, myself, I have nothing to report tonight. Legislative, Ms. Stepnick is not here. Letter A, recommend approval to accept and resolve the following 1 and 2 as listed below.
On behalf of the board, I'll make that recommendation.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? Motion passes. Policy, Mr. Caligiuri, Lead Board Liaison, recommend approval to accept and resolve the following as listed below.
On behalf of the board, I'll make that recommendation.
Second?
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? Motion passes. Mr. Caligiuri, anything to report tonight?
I have no report, but I just want to thank the school counselors, the social workers, Turtle Creek Valley, and all of our other staff are going out to support families. I recognize that they also need to be supported, and so I thank them for their service. And I hope that we can all, as a community, support them as well. And that's it.
Thank you. Equity and Inclusion, Ms. Wetmore, anything to report tonight?
For once, I do when nobody else does. So, I just, like so many others around this table, want to take a moment to remember those neighbors we lost in Saturday's devastating tragedy. My heart goes out to their families, their friends, and their colleagues, as well as to our entire community. It has been truly inspiring to see how quickly our community reacted in coming to the aid of those affected. And I know this generosity and caring will continue as we come together to grieve our losses. As a mental health advocate, I feel it is important to remind everyone not to hesitate to reach out for help if you're feeling overwhelmed, having thoughts of self-harm, or if you just need to dump your junk with someone who can help you sort through and make sense of it. There are resources for the community available on our website, or you can reach out to our counselors, our social workers, our school psychologists for direction to resources as well. Trust me, none of us are alone in how we're feeling, and talking about it is one of the healthiest ways to get through it. If you need a day off, give yourself grace and take it. None of us is any good to others if we aren't good. I also want to thank our first responders, our school staff, and all the others who have given and continue to give their time and energy to help. You are true heroes in every sense of the word. Finally, I personally want to acknowledge Greg Renko, who is the Rustic Ridge HOA president. I didn't know Greg before Saturday, but I'm proud to know him now. He is working so hard to help put pieces back together that I don't even know if he knows up from down right now. And he is one of many unsung heroes who step up in times of tragedy. And I want him to know that I'm thinking about him and his family, and that their caring and their passion has not gone unnoticed. So, thank you.
Thank you. Community Engagement, Outreach, and Development, Ms. Stepnick is not here tonight. At this time, I'd like to open the floor to citizens' comments on non-agenda items.
Is there anybody in the audience that would like to make comment at this time? Mr. Devine?
Thank you. Upcoming public meetings, we have a discussion meeting Tuesday, September 12th at 7 o'clock here in the library, and an action voting meeting on Tuesday, September 26th, 7 o'clock here in the library. At this time, I'd like to call the meeting adjourned. Do I have a motion and a second?
Motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.